In today's episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with Peter from Cstar Games, who created Head Chef as it's finishing up its last week on Kickstarter. So, hang on until after Kickstarter Corner and these brief messages so you can find out all about this game in its final week. And then if you like what you hear, go ahead and back it so we can help them get to their funding goal. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by Braden's World, makers of Heroes of History card game. Sam, the game's creator, was on with us a few episodes back, episode 235, Wishlist Wednesday on Saturday, Heroes of History Take 2 to be exact, to talk about this game. And after we got our copy, we are really excited to get started. It's the only game on the market where you can have Norse heroes fight American generals in a Minotaur's lair, which I can't wait to try out. The new set of Glorious Greeks and Vicious Vikings is out now. For listeners of the show, you can get a 10% rebate on the game by emailing sam@bradensworld.com. We'll leave the email link in the show notes with a copy of your receipt, and he'll get you 10% off. And for the first 10 listeners to leave an Amazon or eBay review, he'll also send you an extra 5% rebate. So, visit bradensworld.com and learn more about how you can order Iron Flanks versus Dragon Boat Raiders, as well as the beginner set Midnight Riders versus Echoes of the Plains. Heroes of History. Do you have what it takes to be a hero? This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by Dark Naga, Haunting of Hastur Hardback, 5e and OSR. It's the hardback color omnibus edition of the Haunting of Hastur modules, Dark Nagas 1 through 5, with VTT maps and extras. And you know what? I had the pleasure to sit down with Kevin to talk all about this. You can go ahead and find out more about that in the update entitled Update for week of February 4th, 2019. So go give that a listen and then check out Dark Naga Haunting of Hastur Hardback 5e and OSR. Don't dilly-dally though, as they're going into their final 48 hours at the time of recording. So you have through this Sunday, the 17th of February, tomorrow in fact. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is also proudly being powered by Calakmul, 4 daring jungle dice games in a tin. Calakmul, who will be the next Maya ruler? The second daring dice games you can find out in this one with a special Make 100 pledge level. It includes solo play. They have reached their funding goal, and so if you want to check it out, jump on over and check out Calakmul, 4 daring jungle dice games in a tin. That's on Kickstarter through Thursday, the 28th of February. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by 9 Lives, a card game about cats. That's right, it's a card game for cat lovers, cat haters, and cat neutral people. Even dog people will love it. They've reached their funding goal, and there's still 15 more days for you to get in on the fun of this as it goes through Sunday, the 3rd of March. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by Heroes and Treasure, Darkness and Light campaign. It's a popular Heroes and Treasure family RPG, expanding with new maps, enemies, and treasures. This is a role-playing game you can play with kids 4 years old and up, and even teens. If we can get our hands on it, this is one that hopefully Getting Geeky with Game Relief will go ahead and add to our Rolling with the Leaf segment after some time. So definitely, in the meantime, go ahead and check out our campaign, Heroes and Treasure, Darkness and Light campaign. That'll be on your Kickstarter through Tuesday, the 12th of March. Last but not least, we're going to go ahead and actually sponsor this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief as well. That's right, me, Game Relief, as we also have a Kickstarter on currently, called Getting Geeky with Game Relief Podcast Season 3. That's right, with over 300 episodes made for geeks like you, we'd like to improve and provide greater content and expand what we already do for you. We can do this with your help, so definitely check out our campaign that's on Kickstarter currently. We funded in 12 hours, but we're still going for those stretch goals. Right now, We are so close to that $2,500 stretch goal, which will get me, Gamer Leaf, doing board gaming with yoga, not only in a podcast form, but also in a video form, which Lady Leaf thought might be a better medium for this. I'm hoping it'll be really funny. But we're only, $37 away from that goal or so? That was me doing real live math on air. But anyways, definitely run on over and check out Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf podcast season 3. And if you're planning on backing, now might be the time if you check out update number 8. As everyone, if we get 100, I think it's down to 90 backers, before the 19th of February, then everyone will get extra for their pledge level. Every pledge level will include something different. They're all different, but all a lot better and a lot more for you, just for backing Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. You can't back? Go ahead and share our campaign. Don't worry, any little bit helps, even if you can only put $1 towards it, just like with any of these other campaigns. And that's a way to share it as well, as everybody who follows you on Kickstarter will be able to see it. And nothing will be charged to your card until these campaigns end. Ours ends the 1st of April, but now is the time so we can get those 100 more backers.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. I'm so glad you made it today. We're going to go ahead and have Peter on the show to talk all about his great game, Head Chef. But first, let's go ahead and see what's on Kickstarter in your neck of the woods, shall we?
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leaf's computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leafs.
Okay, we've talked about this one quite some time. We also had the designer on the show before they launched, but Theosis Godslayer has reached its funding goal. That's right, Theosis Godslayer, the mini expansion to the core game Theosis with an amazing, huge miniature. This campaign funded in 48 hours. It was only a 7-day campaign. So there's still a couple more days for you to get in on the fun action of this. About 3 or so. It ends on Tuesday, the 19th of February at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So you don't want to dilly-dally. And you know what? If you go ahead and tune in to our next episode, which is coming out relatively soon or right after this one, you will be able to hear me sit down with him to talk about it since it's funded. That's right. We're going to have him on the show again just for you. So go ahead and listen to this one, and then immediately listen to the next one, and you'll hear all about this game again, plus some of the stuff they've done during their campaign. Another one that's on Kickstarter currently is In the Hall of the Mountain King. You know what? We're also doing an episode with the designer of In the Hall of the Mountain King that you'll be able to catch after you catch the Theosis one. That's right. Triple the Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, all in one weekend. How do you like that? Speaking of In the Hall of the Mountain King, I loved my chat with him, and we talk all about their game from Burnt Island Games. It's a game I'd never heard of. Mechanics like this, get a load of this: territory denial, cascading production, magic, and muscle. It's an innovative game for 2 to 5 trolls that is easy to learn but hides rich depths. That's right. And get this, they're way over their funding goal. That's right, they were going for $30,000 and they're at over $100,000. So yeah, over 330% funded. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, like I said, go ahead and tune in to our next 2 episodes. Burnt Island Games. We're going to have the designer on shortly. Just so you never miss another episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcast catcher so you can catch all of the fun that is Getting Geeky with Game Relief. If you like anything about In the Hall of the Mountain King, or you don't know if you like it, definitely swing on over to their Kickstarter page and check it out. This project will be on Kickstarter through Thursday, the 28th of February. Next, we teased about this one at the first of the episode, but 9 Lives, a card game about cats. That's right. It's a card game for cat lovers, cat haters, and cat neutral people. Even dog people will love it too, as well as Leafs. That's correct. It was backed by the Leafs. And you want to find out more about it? I had the pleasure to sit down with Ice, and you can go listen to my interview that I had with him, one of the designers, back in their update entitled Update Number 1, We Are Nearly 100%. That's right. Go ahead and click on the image of myself, I'm the Leaf, and the cat in Getting Geeky with Game Relief, 9 Lives. Go listen to that and you can find out if that's a game for you. They have reached their funding goal and there's still 15 more days to get in on the fun of this as this project goes through Sunday the 3rd of March. Next we've got Duels of Kartasora 2-player 6 warriors from Analog Game Studios. It's a shotgun card game with 6 infamous warriors, quick setup and play, and a lifetime to sharpen your battle skills. We had the pleasure to sit down with Jeremy, the designer, and Richard, the publisher, to talk all about this one. And you can go ahead and catch that in their update number 2, entitled Getting Geeky with Game Relief, Kartasora interview. So go ahead and give that a listen and then come back. We'll wait for you. What did you think? Yeah, I always love sitting down with Richard to see what next game he has on hand for us. But if you like anything about that, especially it's a war game, except it's asymmetrical. I'd never heard of that asymmetrical war, like that card game you might have played as a child. I really was intrigued. So if you like it or any of these other games we've talked about, go click on the link in the show notes and show these designers and publishers support, as well as Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Now, I don't know how this one slipped through the cracks. I search Kickstarter every day, and somehow this one passed me by. But the other day, I was listening to Richard Simpson's podcast, We're Not Wizards. That's one of my favorites, by the way. And I heard these two brothers talking about their latest game, Sheep Boom Ba. That's right, you heard me right. Sheep Boom Ba. That's currently on Kickstarter. I don't know how I missed it, but now it's there and you can find out more about it. It's a 2 to 4 player tabletop game of moving sheep and playing cards while trying to discover your barn hidden in an active minefield. Yep, you don't want to blow up the sheep. You can find out more about it by tuning in to Richard's podcast where he sat down with the creators from One Day West Games. Or better yet, you can go ahead and make sure you subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast catcher, and we'll go ahead and catch up with the two brothers that created this next week sometime. So that's exciting. But either way, go ahead and check out Sheep Boom Ba. That'll be on Kickstarter through Tuesday, the 5th of March. And it's a very low buy-in, $29 only. Plus, you get, that's right, sheep meeples, colored and white. Wow. So definitely head on over and check out this campaign. Last but not least, we teased about it in the first of the show, and we're still there as our campaign's going for a little while, but Getting Geeky with Game Relief Podcast Season 3. That's right, we've made over 300 plus episodes for people like you. With your help, though, we'd like to provide greater content and expand what we already do. We've already surpassed the funding goal to get us doing video. Why not make that even further? The one I'm really excited for, you want to hear what it is? I knew you would, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I'm really excited for our stretch goal if we can get to $3,200. This will give us puppets and other video stuff so the kids can come on the videos too. Sometimes you don't necessarily want your children on the interwebs, but this way we'll have puppets like can be found in my Kickstarter video, like I'm a Leaf. This way we can have Leafs created for all of the Getting Geeky with Game Relief household, and they can be on the show without disclosing their true identities. So help us reach that goal. Plus, if you go ahead and back within the next 10 days, we get 100 or more backers before the 19th of February. We're going to go ahead and up the ante on the current pledge levels. That's right. So you can find out more about that in update number 8. Now, without further ado, we join my interview with Peter to talk all about Head Chef, already in progress.
Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Assume the identity of one of the many townspeople, each with their own unique ability from their current occupation. Will you be the smooth-talking salesperson? Or maybe the earth-loving hippie? You will collect ingredients that you will play in combinations to make tasty food. Making food will earn you points of fame. Once you have amassed enough points of fame, it's time to upgrade that tiny food truck to a trendy cafe. Keep that kitchen burning, and before you know it, you will be the most famous cook in town. One final upgrade will see you crowned head chef. Give yourself an edge over the competition. Manage all of this, and you will agree. Victory has never tasted so good.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It did to me, kind of. It's been quite some time, but today we're lucky enough to have on the creator and mastermind behind a new game that's currently on Kickstarter. We had him on clear back at the birth of the podcast a couple months after we started, but we're lucky enough to join us the creator and mastermind behind Head Chef. Is that right, Peter? Is that how you fall in line with Head Chef?
Yep, that's it. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Glad we could catch up, especially with the difference in time zones. Now, before we jump into talking about your game, or as a refresher, per se, somebody hasn't listened before, they'd have to go back all the way back to the beginning of our episodes. I don't remember how soon on we had you after we started back in May of 2017. But how did you get into playing tabletop board games, Peter?
Well, so of a Sunday, normally we all head over to Mum's place. We've all left home now. I'm second of 4 in the family, so kind of a big family by today's standards. And you know, we always thought it'd be good to have like a family day. So every Sunday we'd all head over to Mum's and we'd all play board games. So it was a real family bonding thing for us. It was a way for us all to, you know, come together in such busy lives these days. And it was board games that did it for us. So that's what got me started into board games.
And was it like Monopoly, or was it the hobby games, or what kind of games did you play when you started that?
So there were 2 defined groups. So normally my parents and the wives would play Monopoly, and you know, me, my brothers and sisters, we started out playing stuff like Risk and Civilization. So we were big on Civilization, the video game. So yeah, growing up we played a lot of that, and then we sort of moved to the board game version of it. We did that for a while, and then I started looking for games that, you know, worked for everyone. And Ticket to Ride was the first, I guess, proper gateway game that got everyone involved. And you know, my mum loved it, and from then on, it's really been looking for family games for the family, stuff that everyone can get in on.
Awesome. And what are you guys playing these days?
Well, we like to let Mum choose. So every weekend, it's normally one variant of Ticket to Ride, and then anything else. So I guess the latest game that's really gelled for us has been Azul.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I played that a couple times. So you're not playing Head Chef every weekend with them?
I like to put it in where I can, but yeah, it's good to get variety. It's good to play a range of games. And in today's industry, there's so many good games out there. So yeah, we like to get some new stuff to the table sometimes too.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome that you're able to do that and they involve the whole family. Now, when it comes to gaming at your house, is there like a leading champion, or do you guys take turns on who wins or whatnot?
Well, we try not to let people win, so we don't take turns of who wins. It's quite varied. Most games are quite balanced that anyone can win, and we don't get too cutthroat at home, so it's not a sort of a cutthroat family. We're all friends. We're all family.
Well, there you go. That's the way it should be. Now, word on the street is you're back after some time off with Head Chef on Kickstarter, and it's almost funded with 7 days to go. What can you tell people that maybe haven't heard of it or seen the Kickstarter? What can you tell them about Head Chef, the tabletop card game of food, fame, and fun?
Head Chef was designed as one of those games for everyone. It's a family game. It's a bright, colorful game about food. So it's a theme that everyone can get into. Much of life is about food, whether you're a kid, an adult, or anything. Food is always a big part of life, and it's always a fun part of life. People come together with food. Oftentimes, parties, lunches, stuff like that. It's something that brings people together, and that's what I get out of board games too. It's something that brings people together. So, like I said, it's a game for everyone. It can be enjoyed by kids, it can be enjoyed by parents, it can be enjoyed by hardcore gamers. It's a light filler game, so it's not so complicated that it's going to overextend its time on the table. Max players 4. It'll do about half an hour. We've got a whole range of game modes there, so you can go at a free for all. You can go a 2v1, a 3v1. You can go 2 versus 2 teams, and you can even go solo. So there is a solo variant in there that works really well. So I guess the core of the game is the mayor of town has built this new gourmet restaurant, and he's looking to the townspeople to find the most famous cook to become the head chef of this restaurant. So as the players, we are these townspeople, and everyone in town has their own special ability that's based on their previous occupation or their lifestyle that they bring with them. So every time you play the game, depending on the character you get, you're going to have a very different experience of the choices you make when playing the game. So there's that variety in there. There's 16 different characters, and a lot of them sort of feed off each other as well. So it's not just the character you get, it's the other characters in the game that are going to change the way it works as well.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. Now, per se, me and you sat down to play Head Chef. What does my turn look like, Peter?
Yep, so on your turn, you get 4 actions to spend, and they can be a combination of drawing an ingredient card from the market into your hand, playing a food from your hand to the trash, scoring your points. You could play what we call a trade. So if you're having bad luck off your draws, and you can't string together a sequence of ingredients to make a food, chances are you'll have a double. And these doubles or pairs can be traded back to the trash, and you'll get 1 point for it. So that helps you push it along where you're having bad luck. And then at the end of your turn, you have a hand limit of 4. So anything in addition to 4 gets discarded with that we call leftovers. And these can be purchased for a future action. So instead of using one of your actions for a blind draw from the deck, you can use it to buy, one of these leftovers that someone has carelessly discarded. So every turn you're going to be taking these combination. You're going to be taking 4 actions in these combinations of choices.
Okay, awesome. And you said there's 16 different characters to you. Do they have any special abilities, or they're all the same?
Oh no! Each character has its own special ability based on its previous occupation or its previous lifestyle. So, for example, the hippie. The hippie is all about reducing, recycling, and he's all about using ingredients efficiently. So he does it so well that when he makes a food, he gets to take one of those ingredients that he used for food back into his hand. So think of it as like he's got enough offcuts of bread that he can, he's got enough bread to take back and use again. So that really builds into a lot of combos where you're making a small food that gets you a little bit of points. You're taking back one of those ingredients and you're setting yourself up to make another food straight off the bat. Another example is...
Awesome. That's who I would use.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You're a pretty good talker, so maybe you would be more inclined to pick the salesman. So the salesman is very good at talking, and he likes to give himself a challenge. So whenever he makes a sausage roll, which is the lowest scoring food in the game you can make, he gets 2 points of fame instead of 1. So you sort of limit yourself to playing the low scoring game to get those card efficiencies, but you're getting 2 points, whereas everyone else only getting 1 for that. So...
Oh, wow, you made it hard to pick, because I really am a fan of hippies or whatnot. But yeah, I like to be a salesman as well. So I guess I'd have to go in and see. But there's 16 to choose from, you said?
Yeah, there's quite a lot in there. There's 16. So some of them are a bit more powerful than the others, and they are balanced by the player count in the game. So they're all good. They're all different. They're all going to have you thinking differently about how you play the game. But the rest of the cards in the game and the way it all flows, I found it very balanced. Every game sort of comes down to the wire.
Awesome. Now you said they're all balanced, so I imagine there was quite a bit of play testing. During play testing, was there anything you had to scrap because it just wouldn't work for the game?
Oh wow! Well, since the game's inception, there's been quite a number of changes. Initially the game was a lot slower. The food took longer to make, and the game took a lot longer to play. And for what the game was, it was way too long. So, I've increased the actions from 2 to 4 over time. Um, everyone's got their own set of power cards now, so these are single-use cards that give you some big benefits and a little bit of pushback in there. So that's really a sort of an opportunistic part of the game where everyone's got the same set, and it's all about when you use it to make the best use of it. So it's a lot more streamlined than it used to be. A lot of work has gone into keeping it streamlined. I sort of built it around the philosophy of every turn you have should progress you in the game. So you always feel like you're making progress, you're getting these achievements, and you're working towards your end goal.
Awesome, that's pretty cool. And during the time you've been off of Kickstarter, were any of those changes made, or what changed since the last run on Kickstarter?
Yep. So the first time we launched, we had a lot that we wanted to do. Well, there was a lot that I wanted to do on it that I couldn't get done in a efficient and in a way that the game would flow nicely. So one of them would be our team mode, so 2 versus 2. I've done a bit of development on that, and it works quite well where it is now. I've introduced a new action you can take on team games. 3 versus 1, 2 versus 1 works really well now. The solo variant, I guess it was a little clunky at work before, but it is a lot better now. So in the solo variant now, the player, you are taking on one of the 4 AI cards, and they've all got a scripted set of actions that they're going to take on their turn, and it's quite reactive based on their current points of fame and also on your points of fame. So it will react to where you are and where it is, and what can I say? I've lost more than I've won to it, so that's what you want in a solo game. The artwork has had a full overhaul, so it's a lot more bright, it's a lot more colorful, it's a lot more mass appeal than it used to be. It's a lot more polished. I'm very happy with how the art's looking at the moment.
Well, that's good to hear. And it looks like the funding goal has changed slightly.
So the funding goal has changed slightly. It's a lot less now than it was before. There were some changes in components. Like I wanted a deluxe thing straight out the box, so I had to strip back some of the components to the base model that it is now. That's helped me reduce the funding goal. That's not to say that they're bad parts or poor quality or anything. They're pretty good stuff that you're getting in the box. So any upgrades that I'd like to make to cards, components, and whatnot are all included in stretch goals if we hit it.
Awesome. And it looked like during the previous campaign that was unsuccessful, there was about 87 backers. When you did an update and everything with that, did you see any crossover, other people coming from the previous campaign to back this again?
Yeah, definitely. I do see a lot of people coming back a second time Fed Chef. So it's good to see that support from people that backed it the first time, that still believe in it, that have seen it for what it is and have come back to support it again.
That's good to hear. And recently you did a kind of an out of the box, a different way of giveaway with the Giveaway Geek. Can you tell us what you did with him?
Sure. So with the Giveaway Geek, we organized a giveaway of Terraforming Mars. So of the 16 characters of the game, I split them up into 4 weeks, and every week I'd have a silhouette of the characters, and on our Facebook page I had a whole list of 32 different character occupations and lifestyles. So it was up to the people to have a look at these and guess what these silhouettes are. So every correct guess would get someone another entry into the competition. and we ran this over 4 weeks. So it was a lot of data collecting, but it was very fun to see people guessing at what the characters in the game are and familiarizing themselves with this. So that ran for 4 weeks, and we did pick a winner. And I have confirmed that his game did arrive, so he's a really happy chappy.
Well, that's good to hear. And did you see, I guess that was mainly to build exposure, I would think?
Yep, it was mainly to build exposure, get people familiarized with the characters in the game, and the characters really are the core of the game. Them having these variable abilities, it really does become the core of the game that everything's built around. And we did see a surge in people who joined our Facebook group, and we have seen some of them come back as backers. So it was a worthwhile exercise for us.
Okay, so some of those did turn into backers from what you've seen?
Yep.
Well, that's good to hear. That's awesome. So, yeah, so that's pretty cool. And it looks like, I want to say recently I saw something on your Facebook page or somewhere about they're going to include head chef hats or chef hats.
Yeah, so the scoring tokens, so everyone's got a wooden cube that goes around the scoring track. And I've decided to upgrade them to chef hat tokens, so little chef hat meeples. We tried to run it as a flash funding at the beginning of the campaign. So if we did fund in the first week, we were going to throw them in for free. But I've done a lot of demo days since, and people really, really enjoy that piece of the game, and I feel like it's that that quality piece that sets the game apart that I really wanted to have in. So, I went back to the books. I went to see where we can stretch budgets and where we can fit things in. So it's going to increase the cost of the game, but that's my margins. That's something I got to deal with myself. But that's fine. I've decided to put it in because it's been such a popular thing from people that have played, and it makes the game that little bit more unique and stand out from other games. So I've decided in the last week to stick it in for everyone as a component upgrade.
Well, that's pretty good to hear. And it looks like there's a few reviews. What did some of your reviewers have to say about Head Chef?
Yes, a lot of them have liked it for its mass appeal. So that its colorful, cheerful sort of look is good for everyone. We did a review with Father Geek as well, and he takes the game to 3 different core groups of people to play test it with. So he takes it to children, he takes it to parents, and he takes it to gamers. He gets their opinion on it, so it's not something that he has any influence over. It's really based on the feedback they give him. All 3 groups approved of it, so that's how I earned the Father Geek seal of approval. So you only get that when all 3 groups approve. He has a great review up on his website too, which is it's good. It gives you a good idea of the game from the 3 different perspectives of groups of players.
Well, that's good to hear because you never know who's going to come on over, so that's awesome. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, going back to your previous campaign versus this one, did you, besides the giveaway with the Giveaway Geek, did you do anything else marketing-wise, if you don't mind us asking?
No, you ask away. So marketing, I did a fair bit of Facebook ads, so a month before, and then running ads through the duration of the campaign. You got your normal prototypes, send out to reviewers for video reviews and whatnot. I've done a lot of face-to-face demoing with people. I'm in Sydney, Australia, so there are a fair few board game meetups that I can go to meet people, play games, and introduce Head Chef and let them experience the game for what it is. And that's sort of helped me. I've seen a fair few backers of people I've played games with who have played it and enjoyed it so much that they've backed it. The games campaign fell on one of our larger conventions that we have in Australia here, so CanCon, which is in Canberra. It was a 3-day convention. They do everything from board games to war gaming and stuff like that. So I had a table there. I demoed for 3 days. I met a lot of amazing people who sat down to play the game, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but it was very rewarding to see people enjoying the game I've created.
Well, that's always good to hear. Now, when it comes to what do you say you did that most affected this campaign getting a lot closer to funding, would you say?
I think games sometimes become one of those things where you don't really get the experience reading it off a Kickstarter campaign is something that sometimes you have to experience a game to fully understand what you're getting out of it. I do feel like a lot of the demos I've done face to face have been, have been good just to form that relationship with the backers and getting the experience of the game. Video reviews always help. But yeah, Facebook marketing has helped a little bit. But I really do think connecting with the people is the best way to get backers. And being in Australia, there's only so much of that I can do. So I got to push as much as I can online as I can.
Well, there you go. Yeah, for sure. So it looks like we're cruising towards that funding goal at the time of this recording, which was just a couple days ago. By the time this releases, if not less, you were almost $700. Well, yeah, just under 700 USDs away from US dollars away from getting your goal. So that's awesome.
Thank you. So we're 86% through. This is our final week. So we've got 7 days left, and we're just under $1,000 Australian dollars left.
Well, there you go. Awesome. Now, how many followers are following along? Are you able to have access to that now compared to last time?
Last time last time I cancelled it early, so the followers didn't really come into play in the final hours of the last 2 days of the campaign. So I can't really judge how much it impacted last campaign to how much it impacted this one. But this one we have about 289 followers. They'll all get an email in the last 48 hours. So hopefully, they're people who have liked the idea and have hit follow me now, and they'll come back. They'll have another review, and hopefully they'll like what they see and they'll hop on board.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, so we have funds, and then so you don't overpromise and underdeliver. When will people anticipate being able to play Head Chef?
So as soon as the campaign finishes, I'm going to make a full color print and play link available so people can download it, cut it out, print it out. One of those DIY print and play things, just to sort of tide them over. If they're really keen to play, they can do that until the physical copy arrives. But this is my first production, so I'm sure there are going to be delays and stuff that I haven't fully understood yet. So those things will be communicated to the backers as they arise. But I'm trying to get it done by the end of September, so definitely before Christmas. But end of September is sort of what I'm speculating I'd get it out to people by.
Well, there you go. Now, I know you have to get off to work, so we don't want to keep you all day, but minus coming over there to Australia to stalk you, how would people go about keeping up with you and what you have going on with Head Chef?
Yeah, so I guess the best way to connect is with the Facebook site, facebook.com/headchef. So it's our company site, kickstarter.com/Cstar Games. I'm always happy to reply to a direct message or anything like that. I've always got time for people who are fans. So if you are in Sydney, you want to play some games, hit me up, send me a message. I'm sure I can direct you to some game meetups here, and if I do have time, I'd love to come along with you and play some games. Is
there anything in your back pocket that you might be coming out with after you're done with Head Chef and everything?
Well, no designer works on one single project alone. I've got a few things that I've got that need quite a bit more development time devoted to it. One that I'm really passionate about is a worker placement game that has some, dice rolling combat in it. So it's sort of a mix of a, worker placement Euro game and, your Ameritrash dice rolling battling sort of stuff. So that's something I really like. I've really gotten into worker placements recently, but at the moment they've all been put on hold. I want to concentrate all my efforts on Head Chef, get that out, get that funded, produced, out to the backers, and then move on to my other projects and see which one sticks the most as to which one I'm going to sort of work on next.
Yeah, most definitely. So if anybody's listening right now, if you haven't gone over to check out Head Chef, head on over to check out the Kickstarter page. Final question for you, Peter. What makes Head Chef, the tabletop card game of food, fame, and fun, pop out as a game on Kickstarter that my fans should go check out, and then if they like what they see, back it?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing it has for it is it is a small box game. It's not your big, heavy board games that are going to cost you a small fortune. it is something that's for everyone, so it should be easy to get to the table, whether, you're gaming with gamers, you're gaming with your family, or, you want something simple to play with your kids. There's enough depth in there that, it's easy enough for the kids to pick up, but there's enough thought processes and interesting situations that, the parents, the adults would also be entertained. So yeah, I think its biggest asset is it's got something for everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we wanted to thank you so much for coming on Getting Geeky with Gamerleaf, especially waking up early before you go off to work. We really appreciate it, Peter.
No, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. And you have a good day and good luck with the rest of the campaign.
Thank you.
No problem. I always love sitting down with Peter. I know it's been quite some time since we got the opportunity. But that was quite the interview. I'm really excited for Head Chef. It sounds like it's going to be quite the game. If you like that or any of the other games or projects we talked about during the show, do us a little favor, as well as the creators, designers, and publishers. Go ahead and click our links through the show notes and show a little bit of support that way, as that way they can see that coming on Getting Geeky with Gamerleaf or us talking about their games had some impact for them. Plus, it can help us keep on bringing on some awesome creators. But now it's our least favorite time. But before I leave you, I wanted to remind you that if you're ever subscribed, you won't miss these. But if you're not, go subscribe right now. And also jump on over and listen to our next 2 episodes as we're sitting down with the designer of In the Hall of the Mountain King, as well as we're going to have the designer of Theosis, Godslayer mini expansion, back on as its campaign's wrapping up. So go ahead and give those a listen and see if those be games that you want to add to your collection. And like usual, we'll go ahead and get geeky. And I hope you'll get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others in the geek fold. And we will catch you guys on the flip side. Gamerleaf out.
Gamerleaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamerleaf's luck holds up.